Your cat has been ignoring you for 3 hours. But he's not lazy. He's not arrogant. And he's definitely not a four-legged psychopath plotting your death. He just evolved differently from you. This isn't rudeness, it's a 10,000-year-old survival strategy. And then suddenly, you feel it. A pair of eyes. Slow. Unblinking. You look up, and there they are, your cat, staring at you from across the room, with an expression that looks alarmingly close to judgment. Maybe contempt. Maybe disappointment. The same look you'd give someone who just chose the wrong coffee order. And the weirdest part? You feel it. You actually feel judged. By a small, furry predator that weighs less than your laptop. But here's the question that almost nobody asks: why do we care so much about what a cat thinks? Why does that stare get under your skin? Why does it feel personal? The answer goes far deeper than you think, and it starts not with the cat, but with you.
To our ancestors, those eyes meant a predator in the dark. Today, it just means your cat wants breakfast.
See, your brain didn't evolve in a world of house pets and kibble bags. It evolved in a world where being stared at meant something very specific. In the ancient savannah, if a pair of eyes locked onto you, it wasn't wondering if you were a good person. It was deciding whether you were prey. Humans are hypersocial animals, we survived by reading every single signal around us. A glance. A shift in posture. The direction of someone's gaze. Milliseconds mattered. If you misread a stare, you could be dead. So your brain built a specialized system, a network of neurons dedicated to detecting eyes, reading faces, and interpreting social signals. This system is always on. You can't turn it off. It's why you feel watched even when nobody's there. And it's why your cat's slow, steady stare triggers something ancient in you. But to truly understand why cats make us feel this way, we need to go back. Way back. Not to ancient Egypt, where cats were worshipped, that's the popular version of the story. No, we need to go back 10,000 years, to the Fertile Crescent, where something strange and accidental happened. Humans had just invented agriculture. For the first time, we were staying in one place, storing giant piles of grain. And grain attracted rats. Lots of rats. And rats attracted a shy, solitary, wild predator, the African wildcat, Felis silvestris libica. These were not friendly animals. They were territorial, aggressive, and had zero interest in humans. But they were excellent at killing rodents. So they started hanging around human settlements, hunting in the shadows. And humans tolerated them. It wasn't love. It was a business arrangement. But something fascinating happened over thousands of years. Unlike dogs, which humans actively bred for obedience and cooperation, cats basically domesticated themselves. The friendliest wildcats got closer to human settlements, got more food, survived better, had more kittens. Over generations, the ones that could tolerate humans, even just barely, out-reproduced the ones that ran away. But here's the crucial difference: cats were never bred to please us. They were never bred to read our emotions, follow our commands, or bond with us the way dogs do. They evolved to tolerate us, not to understand us. And that creates a very strange dynamic. But if cats were never bred to understand us, how do we explain that stare? Science spent decades trying to figure it out, and the answers are stranger than you imagine. In 2013, a Japanese researcher named Atsuko Saito, from the University of Tokyo, published a study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences that turned everything we thought we knew about cats upside down. She placed cats in a room and played random voices, strangers, other cats, and the owner's voice. The cats reacted, but only with their bodies. Ears turned. Pupils dilated. Their brains lit up. But not a single cat got up. Not one walked toward the voice. They heard. They recognized. And they chose not to respond. And in 2019, Saito published a second, even more revealing study. This time, cats responded physically when they heard their own name, even when spoken by strangers. They knew they were being called. They recognized the word. And still, most of the time, they simply didn't get up. And this brings us to a discovery that changes everything. In 2022, researchers at Oregon State University published a study that shocked animal behavior scientists. They tested how cats form attachments to their owners, using the same secure base test used for dogs and children. And the result was astonishing: 64% of cats formed a secure attachment to their owners, the same rate as dogs and human children. The attachment was there. The connection was real. The difference is that cats simply don't show it the same way. When your cat stares at you with that unreadable expression, your brain, the same ancient brain that evolved to read social signals for survival, desperately tries to figure out what it means. It searches for a message. A threat. A judgment. But here's the problem: your cat isn't sending any social signal at all. It's just looking. It's neutral.
Your cat isn't judging you. Huh.
Your brain, however, can't accept neutrality. It needs to interpret. So it projects. And what does it project? The only thing it knows: social judgment, the same kind you'd expect from another human staring at you in silence. The cat stare becomes a mirror. You're not being judged by your cat. You're judging yourself, using the cat as a screen. This is why the feeling is so unsettling. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: read social signals, but it's reading them from a creature that evolved completely differently. Cats don't have the same facial muscles as dogs or humans. They don't smile. They don't frown. They express themselves through tail position, ear orientation, and subtle body language that most humans can't decode. So when we look at a cat's face, we see a blank expression, and our brain immediately assumes the worst: disapproval. We're wired to assume a neutral face is a negative face. This is a well-documented psychological bias called negativity bias. Neutral equals bad. And here's something even more surprising. Cats have 32 muscles in each ear, compared to only 6 in humans. While you interpret that cat stare as judgment, your cat is actually processing sounds your ears can't even detect. The tiny movements of its ears, which you barely notice, are an entire conversation happening in a frequency range you can't access. What you call judgment might just be your cat listening to something you'll never hear. And if you think this is all one-sided, consider this. Over thousands of years, cats developed different vocal behaviors specifically for humans. Adult cats rarely meow at each other in the wild. But around humans, they do it constantly. Scientists have discovered that cats learned that certain sounds triggered human attention. Your cat may literally be manipulating your brain with carefully evolved noise engineering. In the last 100 years, we've moved cats indoors, turned them into full-time companions, and started expecting them to behave like furry little humans. We want them to greet us at the door. To purr on command. To show gratitude. But they never signed up for this. They're still the same semi-wild creatures that crept into our villages 10,000 years ago to hunt rats. They're ambush predators with a strong territorial instinct, programmed for solitude and caution. The very things we find adorable, the slow blink, the hidden posture, the quiet observation, are hunting behaviors, not expressions of love. The slow blink, for example, is a cat's way of saying, "I trust you enough to close my eyes." It's not affection. It's a survival signal: I don't see you as a threat. And this mismatch creates a strange emotional loop. You want connection. Your cat offers coexistence. You look for love. Your cat offers tolerance. And that gap, between what you expect and what you get, is precisely what makes the relationship feel so mysterious, so compelling, and occasionally so heartbreaking. People who live with cats often report feeling more anxious about the relationship than dog owners do. They wonder, does my cat actually love me? Am I just a food dispenser? Why does she sit on my laptop but never on my lap? The uncertainty is built into the relationship. But maybe that's exactly the point. Cats occupy a unique space in human history. They're not fully domesticated. They never fully surrendered. They live with us, but they remain wild at the edges.
10,000 years.
When your cat stares at you from across the room, you're not looking at a pet. You're looking at 10,000 years of a half-finished agreement between two species that learn to coexist without ever truly understanding each other. The judgment you feel isn't real. But the ancient brain reading that stare, looking for danger, looking for meaning, looking for connection, that is as real as it gets. So next time you feel those eyes fixed on you from across the room, it's not judgment. It's the gaze of an animal that chose to live with you, despite 10,000 years of evolution telling it that it didn't need anyone. But your own ancient mind, shaped by millions of years of survival, can't help but wonder, what does she really think of me? And maybe that mystery is exactly why we keep them around.